This video features the best pay-to-win and free-to-play comps for each stage of the Gruesome Gus challenge. Stay tuned as I go over the best comps and how to play each comp in this video. Let's begin.
Hat or no hat?
Alright, so the first stage is going to be Last Stop, and the first brawler you need to play on Last Stop is going to be Surge. Surge is going to be played on the left lane here. Use the jump pad and sneak around in the bushes to try and charge up your super. Take advantage of the bushes to get closer to the enemies and get your first stage as quickly as possible. Try and cause pressure onto the mid brawler if the enemy team can't scout you out prior. Stay alive as long as possible and use your jumps to dodge or get kills. Gus is such a great mid brawler here. You will probably see mids like Jesse, Jean, and Piper on Last Stop. The good thing about Gus is that he can diff Jesse and Jean for sure, but you might struggle against a Piper. Try to dodge and get your super as often as you can. That knockback with your shield can fend off against aggro brawlers that try to get you down, or just give you more health while you grab the gems. And the last brawler for this comp is going to be Mo. Mo is going to be used on the right lane. Run to the right lane and make sure to scout the bushes prior to entering. You don't deal a whole ton of damage at a point blank range, so make sure you are skipping those stones through the bushes and enter cautiously. Your job is to protect Gus in mid and get your super to assassinate the brawler on your lane or make a play onto the enemy mid brawler. Moving into the free to play comp, the first brawler is going to be Daryl. Daryl is going to be your left lane brawler. Use the jump pad just like Surge to sneak around in the bushes. Make sure that you don't die, because if you lose control on that left side bush, it will make the mid brawler's life a total hell. You need to maintain control and cause pressure as much as you can with your main attacks and rolls. Use your roll onto the enemies and burst them down if possible. Daryl is a great shotgun brawler and assassin to use in Last Stop. Now the mid brawler is going to be the same. It's going to be Gus. You want to try and keep control of mid as much as you can. Help out the lane brawlers with scouting bushes if you defeat the mid brawler, just to help establish control. Now that you have an aggro like Daryl in your comp, you can give your shield to him if you feel like you're totally schooling the enemy mid brawler. This will allow Daryl to relieve a lot of pressure off of you and just go ham onto the enemy team. Now Rico is the first right lane brawler I'm gonna recommend. Rico is so good on the right lane because of his scouting. Use those bounce shots to extend your attack range and make sure that nobody can sneak up onto you. I would highly recommend using the vision gear, since it will help you and your team keep a good eye on enemies that are trying to bush camp and get you down. Now Pearl is going to be the other right lane brawler that you can run if you don't like Rico. Pearl is good as well because she also has a decent main attack range that can scout bushes. Just like Rico, run the vision gear so you can constantly know where the enemies are. The good thing about Pearl is using her super against aggro brawlers like Kenji. This will be useful to deal huge amounts of damage towards a kill. Even using her overcooked gadget is a huge help for that extra burning damage and scouting. Alright guys, the next stage is going to be Hideout, and the comp is going to be the same for pay to win and free to play. And the first brawler for the pay to win comp is going to be Piper. Piper should be used on the left lane, and let me explain why. Your job with Piper is to use your super to break open the map as quickly as possible. Spoiler alert, this comp is completely dependent on Piper's job to break open the map, mostly because this comp is all about thriving in opened up maps. Get your super at least twice to break open the key walls and bushes around the map to benefit your team. The next brawler is going to be 8-Bit. 8-Bit is going to thrive in a more opened up map. 8-Bit is going to struggle if the enemy team is running throwers and Piper does not break open the map. Even though 8-Bit needs his damage booster to be placed behind cover, it's not the end of the world if it's not. 8-Bit will be great as a mid brawler because he can place his damage booster in a more central location, and he can help out the lane brawlers if they are struggling against aggros such as Kenji. Now the main reason why Piper was on the left was because Mandy needs to be on the right. Mandy will do a bit better in the early game on the right lane since she has her Cookie Crumbs gadget. With this gadget, you can hit enemies that are hiding behind that wall, which is something Piper can't do. If possible, it's more important if Piper can break the right lane's walls first so the enemy team can't gain easy pressure off of Mandy and 8-Bit. Use that long range to your advantage once the map is opened up and you are good to go. Alright guys, the next next stage is going to be Safe Zone, and the first brawler for the pay to win comp is going to be Chuck. Chuck is easily one of the best heist brawlers in the entire game. When using Chuck on Safe Zone, run to the left lane where the unbreakable walls are and throw down your first post onto the heist safe. You need to get that one down first since it'll be the toughest one, and then you can place the rest of the posts down mid after that. Just keep on going back and forth through the heist safe to relieve pressure off of your teammates. Colette is another top heist brawler in this meta. Colette is going to be played in mid since she'll have the longest range in this specific comp. Unfortunately, you will get outranged by other sharpshooters like Belle, Piper, or Nani, but I'm praying for you to diff them. Anyways, with how broken Colette's hypercharge is, that's all you need to focus on. Cycle up your supers, use them onto the safe, and then it's GG's from there. Now the last brawler for this comp is going to be Brock. Brock is a great brawler to use on this map specifically for wall break. You want to break the 2x2 logs in mid so that the enemies can't hide behind them. Also destroy your walls on the left hand side to prevent the enemies from kiting around and distracting you. Keep the ones up that are on the enemy team side so you can use those obstacles as cover and distract the enemies yourself. Always use your super onto the safe for that juicy damage. Now the first brawler for our free to play comp is going to be Colette. In this free to play comp, you can actually run Colette on the left lane. Colette can still hit the heist safe over the water by using her super, so if you can charge it up, you won't ever have to go into the enemy team's territory. Same roles as before though, just cycle up those supers, abuse that hypercharge, and you will melt down the safe in no time. Now this time, Piper is going to be your mid brawler. Piper has a longer range than Colette, and this is why she will thrive much better in the middle. Piper can use her super to blow up in the map just like Brock if you need to. Try to maintain control of mid as much as possible, mostly because if your whole team is dead, the game can easily snowball in the wrong direction rather quickly. Keep your distance from the enemies and get in as many shots as you can onto that heist safe. Now the last brawler for Safe Zone is going to be Brock. Brock yet again is making his way into both comps. Now that you have Piper who can also break obstacles, you won't have to stress too much about it. I would still recommend you take care of the wall breaking so Piper can focus on maintaining control of mid. You can also play a bit more aggressive since Piper should be able to put up a good fight against the other long range snipers. Use the same tips that I stated before in the pay to win comp. Alright guys, then the last stage for the Gruesome Gus challenge is going to be out in the open. The first brawler for our pay to win comp is going to be Max. Max can be a sneaky good brawler to run in out in the open. Use Max on the left side to try and keep pressure throughout the match. Dodge and attack to press the enemies back into their spawn if possible to put your team into a good position. Try to charge up your super and use it onto both of your teammates as the smoke starts to close in. This would just make it easier for you and your team to obliterate the enemy. Just don't go too aggro since knockout is all about getting that 3v2 advantage first. Now for the mid, Jean is probably one of the best mid brawlers you can run on this map. Make sure that you're using the vision gear and the magic puff star power to scout the enemy team's bushes and passively heal your teammates when they are low. Even better if you're good at hitting pulls with Jean since you and your teammates can burst them down together and eliminate one more player off the chessboard. Now the last brawler for the pay to win comp is gonna be Buster. Now you can't go with brawlers like Jean and Max without running Buster. Buster will synergize extremely well with a Max super, plus aiding Jean if he connects with a pull to burst down the enemy. Now with Buster, you want to play extremely passively. Don't feed the enemy team supers and save those slow-mo replay gadgets. If the enemies are stupid and take the jump pad, use your gadget to yank them closer to you so you and your teammates can easily burst them down. If all three of you can survive into the late game when the smoke closes in, this comp is pretty much unstoppable. Now the first brawler for our free to play comp is gonna be Brock. Brock has an extremely important role on this map specifically. Make sure that you are running the rocket fuel gadget and break open the wall that is separating spawn and mid. You want to break this open so that for one, you have easier access into middle and can gain control first, but two, you want to have another option to escape just in case you or your teammates get pinched in spawn. For the mid, you want to be using Gus. Gus is yet again making another appearance since he is such a good mid brawler. With his ability to support his teammates with a shield may be the difference maker with getting a kill or getting killed. You can get hit by Gus, have the ghost spawn next to you, and then get instantly gadgeted to death like it's crazy. This makes Gus such a scary brawler to face. And to close out the video, you want to be running Daryl. He won't be as effective as Buster, but he's the next best thing. He can be good to protect your teammates against aggro brawlers and assassins, or if you manage to charge up your super, you can roll onto the enemies for a kill. Best of luck to everybody in the challenge, and let me know in the comments down below how you guys did.